the iCloud. Okay, we're now recording, and topic today is going to cover how do you price something correctly. And I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share with you a handout that I will. Okay, where'd it go? Hang on. I'm not quite sure where that went. There we go. All right. All right. Did I see Josephine come on?
You sure did. How are you?
Please, if I were any better, I'd have to be twins.
Woo!
Okay. All right. So you get a lead that someone wants to. Oh, I'm being told to be quiet. Can you believe that? And this is
What?
Yeah, I guess I'm too excited. Okay. So you get a lead. Someone wants to list their house. And as we kind of talked about a little bit last night, you got to check the seller's motivation. Because if they're not really motivated, you will be hitting your head against the wall for 6 months. So how do you tell? Well, I'm going to go back and forth on this handout. And you ask some questions. I know this doesn't look very clear, but the important part is clear. And so you're on the phone with the potential seller. Can you all see this?
Mm-hmm.
You'll all be given a copy. I will send it to you afterwards. Before I come out, I need a little more information from you. By the way, when you script practice and you see the 3 dots, that's a pause. Pause, let what you've just said sink in, and what you're about to say, let them think about it. If we go too quickly, the important words get buried. So before I come out, I need to get a little more information from you so I can do my homework. You have a couple of minutes now. Great. When we get together, if everything looks good and you feel confident, I am the best agent to sell your property. Are you planning to hire me when we meet? All right. Do you guys feel brave enough to say that to someone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to know right up front. And if they say, well, we're going to be interviewing some other people, just move on. Don't go handling objections. This is information gathering. Are you interviewing any other agents? And by the way, you're not planting that seed. If they're going to interview other agents, they're going to do it. You don't have to even suggest it. Are you interviewing any other agents, or am I the only one? Good. Whatever their answer is, good. When you sell this property, you're kind of mentally implanting that sell your property. Where are you moving? Whatever the answer, fantastic. Why am I asking, and is it any of my business where they're going?
Maybe you could sell them something.
Perfect. I love it. Sure. That's one. And you can make referrals through command very easily. Tell them you can find them a really top agent in the area that they're going. But we also want to get at their motivation, don't we? Okay. Where are you moving, and what's taking you there? Why are you making the move? Maybe there's family there, maybe they're downsizing, maybe it's finances, maybe it's listen, if you watch TV and watch those RV shows, maybe they're selling the house and they're going to RV across the country. But more often than not, they're moving closer to children, grandchildren. If it's an older, more mature. And for others, it could be they just need more room. And then you dig down, maybe the family's expanding and the house is way too small and they're about to pull out their hair. So you want to know that information, all right? So how soon do you want to be there? Or how soon do you want to be in your new big home? If we sell your home in less than 30 days, would that be a problem for you? Can I tell you guys, When I send this handout to you, I want you to star that. Because that's a great question. If I sell your house within 30 days, is that going to be a problem? And if they say, oh my God, we're not ready, what would make you ready? What would make you ready? And then you can kind of delve in as to what you can do to help them. But it gets you to what's their motivation? How willing are they to work with you? Okay.
I think she froze.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought everyone froze.
Did she send this info to us?
She
No, I
said
don't-
she's going to.
Oh, okay, because I already have, I mean, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I thought she said she was going to email it to us.
I just thought maybe I missed. Stacy, did you get anything?
No.
But this is the scripts that we have from our other classes, right? Or is this one
From-
different? I just joined.
Slightly different from push, right?
It might be different. There was a attachment that came out that was like 37 pages. It could have been buried in there.
Who gave you that attachment with 37 pages?
Patty did.
Really? Did you guys all get it? I didn't get it.
I think I did, but I didn't look through all of it.
When
She
was
sends
that?
a lot of emails out. I got
Yeah.
it when I first came on. I mean, I've only came on since, in the last week, but I got just a boatload of stuff.
Yeah, me
Stacy, did
too.
you get a bulk scripts from
No,
her?
no, I didn't.
No, because we've got ours from Hal and David
Yes.
and John. Yeah, she didn't send, okay. I'm just trying to get caught up. I was in another Zoom meeting I couldn't get out of.
I would re-forward it all out, but everything's BCC'd on mine, so I can't tell who's getting what.
Stacy,
lot
I answered you yesterday. I didn't know if you saw it in chat.
Oh, no, I totally missed it.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize I wasn't on video. Yeah, get in touch with me about scripting.
Yep.
I have 2 other script partners, but let me know.
More the merrier.
What's a
Yep.
script partner?
We do scripts with each other. We run through all the scripts that we have on a daily basis.
Okay.
I just chatted out my email. If you want it,
Well, yeah, sure.
just email me, and if I have what you need, you can use it. And then if it's garbage, just delete it.
I'm sure none of it's garbage.
Well, if you got it twice, you know what I mean.
You're
don't
gonna be
need- you don't need
inundated.
another.
You're going to be
37
inundated with so
pages.
much stuff. So I
20
started back.
20 years in corporate. I file my emails away really fast.
There you go. Well, I got my license back November 5th.
So you got a
So,
lot.
yeah, and it just kind of doesn't stop. I'm still catching up on stuff. Like I haven't completed things. So,
Right. That's good to know because I'm like overwhelmed.
yeah, you will be. You will be. Stacy and I have discussed that together.
Boy.
It's, there's a lot. There's a lot. And there's still a lot.
Mhm.
But you think about it and we're in like 2 months because Stacy, you started around the same time as me, right?
Yeah, I did.
Don't you feel like you've got a lot under your belt though? If you had to make a phone call, could you do it?
Afraid of the listing presentation.
Haha.
It used to be like, oh, please don't pick up this way around. At the beginning when I called, but now I'm like, okay, I want them to pick up, but I need that second half, which I guess I should review on that. The listing presentation.
Yeah. There's so much. There's so many scripts too. But you'll find what works for you. So I wonder
Hi,
what
all of you are licensed in New Jersey? Kitty,
Yes.
I'm Kitty. Okay, I'm licensed in New York.
Oh, Ketley, there's someone else that's licensed in New York. I can give you her email address. You should put your email address in the chat.
Okay.
My
Okay. But I've been
accountability,
here like for 1 year with Patty. I sold one house already last year, so it's still a lot for me to learn. I'm
oh,
telling
good.
you.
So I got a
Okay, I'm gonna
text
put
that
my
she's that she's logging back in. I believe.
Trouble with the Wi-Fi maybe over in Woodcliff.
Didn't get anything from her.
Well, I don't know who
A
it's
text
from.
just came through a minute
Yeah.
ago.
Did
Yeah.
it say
Still
logging
not
back
on.
in?
Yeah.
No, I don't see Pat.
She sent it out to 4 or 5 people. I don't know.
It's okay. We'll see if she's coming back.
Hopefully she can edit this out of the recording. Please.
She probably will. So what did you do before you came into Keller Williams? That would be for Nancy and for Pete.
Well, I've had my license for 3 years. I was at Caldwell Banker,
Oh,
but
okay.
I wasn't really active. I did sell my own house. I sold it actually on my own. But before that, I raised 5 kids and grandkids and just that sort of stuff, here and there.
Cool.
But I always liked real estate, so I got my
Good.
license. What about you?
I was in the hospitality industry for the last 30 years, which now, as we all know, there's nothing. So
Yeah.
I did meetings and special events and huge parties. And I also did freelance interior decorating.
Mm.
And so I had to come up with a new career. And this was, all about people and homes, and it was always something I wanted to do, but I just never thought I had the chops for the financial end of it. So
Right.
now I'm giving it a try. See
Yep.
what
So
happens.
Did you guys have a good meeting without me?
We did. We know each other.
Thank you. My
In fact,
hope,
I think we can wrap it up. Anyone have questions?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Patty.
oh my God, I'm like, I can't believe this. Oh my God. So what'd you talk about?
We were getting to know each other.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm not going to record because at this point it would be chopped off. But I am going to share my screen. So, all right, hang on. I got to go find what I was doing. And you guys are funny. I love it. So, yeah, I think I have everybody: Ketley, Peter, Tori, Dylan, Stacy, Nancy, Josephine, Cheryl, and Chris. Anybody I didn't mention because I want to send this to you afterwards. Okay, let's go back to the questions.
Median,
Oh,
median,
oh, Miriam?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you're asking the seller, how far did we get? What would happen if your property didn't sell? What price are you thinking you would like to list your property for? Of course, I research the market every day, so be sure you do. So obviously, we'll make sure we list your home at a price that will get it sold, correct? You're already
Yes.
getting them to say the yes and the buy-ins. What do you think is the lowest price you would consider? How much do you owe on the property? By the way, I wouldn't ask that. I know it's in the script. I think I would skip that question. And have you thought about trying it for sale by owner? Again, you're not planting the seed. Okay, briefly tell me about your home. Again, this is still on the phone. How many bedrooms, baths, garage? You can do a search through a tax search that will give you some of this information. And how would you rate the condition of your home? I really like this question on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like brand new. And then ask them, what would it take to make it like new? All right, you're helping them to start to think critically of their home. Sometimes we don't use the word home when we're discussing with the seller, we say house, because a house is not personal.
Mhm.
It starts to make it sound like a commodity. Okay, and besides that, is there anything else positive or negative that buyers might notice? I love that question. I used to use, what was a concern of yours when you bought this house? And what have you done about it?
Hmm.
And then if they say, well, we really haven't, we've just kind of lived with it, say, then, then buyers are going to have that same issue. Okay. All right, I'm going to send you some information for our meeting. Will you go through it before we meet? That's your pre-listing pack. And what questions do you have, if any, before we get ready to get the ball rolling and put me to work for you? Making some assumptive closes here. The last thing, will all decision makers be there for our appointment? I look forward to seeing you, and you set the time. Okay. So that's really, there's another set of questions, other pre-qualifying questions along the same line. You're going to find a lot of these scripts come from Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry, and they're used, or Brian Eisenhower. You'll find there's a lot of similarities. Okay, why are you moving? What price do you realistically want to list for? Have you thought of selling your home for sale by owner? Please describe your home for me. So there's a whole nother second set of questions. You can all see my screen. I hope you're not getting sick because I'm going so quickly. All right, so you want to have that phone conversation where you're assessing their motivation. I want you to know there's the stats. You, especially as a new person, you better really know your stats because you don't have the track record. All right. Some of the more experienced can talk off, the top of their heads about this house that sold and that house that sold. You don't have to memorize everything, but make sure you have it at your fingertips. Make sure you know your stats. We can go into the MLS. Hopefully I won't get kicked out again. Hang on with me.
So when you talk about stats, do you mean price?
No,
Like what the houses have?
I'm going to show you in a minute.
Okay.
I'm big on stats. I know some of the consuming public is big on stats, but not everybody. Come into stats. Can you all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Stats, and go down to stats. Okay. Time frame. I would go back 6 months. Obviously 12 months gives you more of a picture, but don't forget last February and March we were off the charts as far as activity. Residential, you can make it more specific. Don't make this too specific, but if you're doing stats on a condo in Mahwah, yes, there are enough condos in Mahwah for you to narrow it down to just condos. County 2 and area locale, name an area.
Hillsdale.
Okay. And I want to look at status sold. Okay. Then I click execute. I love this stat. And whether you are working with a buyer or seller, this is a stat you should have at your fingertips. Let's look at it. I'm going to make it bigger. And the blue are links that will, if you hover over, it'll tell you what the meaning is. Do you see that? I know it's hard to read, but just, can you see that I'm hovering and that something's coming up?
Yes.
Okay. So what you want is the total that have sold in 6 months in Hillsdale is 103. 90 of them were co-brokes, meaning two realtors from two different companies, and 13 were sold in-house. I don't get hung up on the total list sale dollars, but I do look at average and median. Average list price, average sold price. What's the median price? What's the difference between median and average?
Middle.
I'm sorry?
Median is the middle.
Median is the middle. So 103 houses have sold. What did house number 51 or 52 sell for? If you had a list of the houses, what did that house 51 or 52 sell for? That's the median. And in some ways, that's more accurate than an average because a very, very high sale or a very, very low sale can throw off your average. Okay?
Mhm.
And then your sale price, list price, and I hover and it tells me percentage sold price to original list price, to original list price. And then the next is sale price to list of the final list price. That would be after price reductions. And look at these in-house ones are going for over asking.
Or in-house meaning Keller Williams?
No,
Oh,
it could be 2 Weikerts, 2 Coldwell Bankers,
okay.
or yeah. And then your average days on the market. I would print this and make this part of my pre-listing pack where you sit down and talk and explain it as I am explaining it to you now. You would explain to your sellers, but include it in the pre-listing pack and include it in the listing pack. Always good to repeat things, right? Pete is Pete on? Pete, are you back on?
I've been here.
Okay, there you go. I don't always see you. I've got a gallery view off to the side because I've shared my screen, so I can't always see who's here. But
I'm
you
here.
had mentioned before, sometimes you go, you want to attend something a second time. Well, you know what? We're all like that. We all need to see something more than once, especially when we're learning. So this is a great stat. Let me go back to more stats. You can do quarterly town stats. That's kind of, okay, comparative report. I like market trend. And again, you can do median or average. I like to show the data points. Go back 6 months, residential, county 2, area locale, what did we say, Hillsdale?
Mhm.
And status, we can do, all right. And it shows you since July 20th goes back 6 months, the number of units sold according to the month. On this, maybe you want to go back 12 months just to see what it shows you. Units under contract. September hit a low. Why? Because we probably weren't listing that many homes. Not that it was an indication of a bad market, but just the inventory was low. So it's good to understand your market in order to talk about these stats. Days on the market. Okay, and median sold price. The median is important because if you're listing a home that's around the median, that's good because that's what's supported by the town. If you're way out of whack, you can point out to your seller, most people are not paying that in this town. Terms of sale. Okay, so how do you figure out absorption? We did this because that's important to help you determine whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. You want to know how many months supply you have.
Of inventory.
Huh? Okay, so let's do Hillsdale again. I'm going to do a property search. And I'm going to do status active, town name. I'm going to do Hillsdale again. And okay, there are 18 homes on the market right now in Hillsdale. Write that down. 18 actives. Then I'm going to change it, status, and I'm going to make it sold. I'll take out the actives. and go back, click detailed property search, come over to sold, and go back 6 months. Okay, then I check count again. Okay, so 103 homes sold in 6 months. Now pull out your calculators. How many are selling per month? Pull out calculators. You've all got phones.
$17.
Does everybody agree? Guys?
Yep.
Okay. So if 17 homes sell in a month, on average, the last 6 months, how many months supply do you have right now if you have 18 homes on the market?
One.
Okay. Now, if we did a search, I'm going to change this, edit, highlight, because I just want to show you something else. Status. Why is it doing that to me? Okay, active. I'm just going to pull up some houses. We've got 18, right? I also want to show you that in the listing, it gives you the absorption, but I want you to be able to pull it up yourself. See right here, it says the absorption rate is 1.2 months.
What does that mean? It sits on the market for 1.2 months?
Quite the opposite. It means it's a very strong seller's market. Very strong. If we have approximately a 5-month supply, that's a balanced market. You know, you guys are new to the market. This is a tough market to work in when you're working with buyers, but it's a very strong seller's market in many price ranges in many towns. So I don't know when was the last time I saw the absorption that low. Stay in this business long enough and you're going to be seeing, there have been times in my life where things were listed 2 and 3 times and each listing was 6 months. So we're talking 18 months to sell something. So you can imagine the absorption back then. But that's our market. Okay, it does that, it goes up, it goes down. But I want you to have these figures, guys. And you have to educate your buyers and sellers. Now, tell your buyers, hey, things are going to fly off the market. Don't think you can go home and think about something over the weekend. It's going to be gone. Okay. At the same time, understand with the seller. Now, one of the things we talked about last night was the pre-approval. How many of you have bought a house in the last 5 years?
Me,
Who's me?
Pete.
Pete? Okay, Pete. You remember the process. You've got a loan application, all that kind of stuff, credit check, verification of income, deposits, employment. And by the way, lenders are checking employment a second time. They used to only do it once. Now they check just before closing because of people having been furloughed. The process also includes the bank doing an appraisal. Right? Now, the bank does what when it does appraisals? The same thing you do when you do a price opinion. It looks backwards. It looks backwards to price something for today. So in that is, and especially in an appreciating market, the bank may come in, and we've run into problems where the bank underappraises. And then your buyer feels they've spent too much. And not only that, but the bank will loan what, let's say the person is going for an 80% loan like we did last night. If they want to maintain that 80% so that they don't pay private mortgage insurance, are you all aware of that? You studied it in licensing? That if there's less than 20% down, the bank is going to want to have the buyer have insurance that the loan will stay healthy and be paid. And that costs money that gets passed to the buyer, that the buyer has to pay for that insurance. It's called private mortgage insurance. People usually like to avoid that, so they will try to maintain 20% down. with that 20% down, if the lender, bear with me here, if they're getting an 80% loan, the lender will loan 80% of the appraised value. If it comes in under appraised, the bank will say you were only going to loan you 80% of the appraised value. That means the buyer has to come up with more money. Okay. Now, the appraisal can be challenged. All right. You like to make sure that the appraiser is from our area. But I've had to, appeal the appraisal. And then sometimes you renegotiate the price. That's what happens.
So is the appraisal from the bank normally under what market value is?
No, not normally.
Okay,
The appraiser will, when you sell something, the appraiser will come out. They don't necessarily go in the house, but they might walk around. And you want to provide comparables as a buyer's agent and as a listing agent, okay? Provide comparables to the appraiser. Sometimes the appraiser will say, I don't want your comps. I'll get my own, but that's okay. That's okay. And they like a copy of the contract. All right, that kind of tells them a target. So I used to go and meet the appraiser and give my comps. And then at the end, I would say, everything good? Do you see any issues? Nah, everything's fine. I'd be okay. I don't have to wait for the appraisal to come in. But just know that when things are in an appreciating market, when we had the scenario that we had yesterday where people were bidding over asking, that the appraisal could come in lower than the contract price. So we won't get into ways to handle that because that's kind of talk to me when it happens. And by the way, guys, when you're in the middle of a transaction, please keep me close. Don't be afraid to call me. You're not bothering me. I will tell you a few things get me angry. Few things. One of the things that will get me angry if I find out that you had a deal that fell apart and you never called me. I might have some solutions for you, so please use me. Okay, so go ahead.
no, I said, I promise I will call you.
So this is pretty good. So I'm hoping you're feeling more comfortable about going on the MLS and reading what's there. All right, let's go back to my handout. Let's hope it's still here and God knows where it is. Okay. I'm working hard here, guys, just trying to keep everything straight. Is that it coming up, maybe? I'm hoping and praying I don't have to get a new computer. Come on. Okay. All right, so those are your stats. By the way, anything that you can learn about the market, about your town, companies moving in, companies moving out, that is so important, and even include that in your pre-listing pack because it talks about the environment that they will be selling in. By the way, on our kwvalley.info site, we do have the statistics that compare our market center with the MLS. Want me to show you that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You trust me, huh? Yeah. Okay. kwvalley.info. This is the local site and okay, market update. Okay, talks about the lore, the language of real estate. But this is what you want. Staying on top, Keller Williams Valley Realty. As of in the month of November, the average days on the market for the MLS was 48 days. This is, I guess, for the, does it say? Whether this was the entire MLS? I think it's the entire MLS, not town specific. The average days on the market for the MLS was 48. We were 33. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that's 15 days if my math is correct. For some people, that's another mortgage payment. That's another real estate tax they're paying. It's more heat, air conditioning, whatever. So that can be a real concern for some people. And then average sale price. November sale price to list price ratio. NJMLS was 96.8. We were 98.9. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when someone turns to you and says, by the way, I can, so-and-so is offering me a 4% commission. Now I can get catty. I think those of you, you're kind of getting to know me a little bit. And, you know, so-and-so is going to charge me 4. I might say, they charge that much? Didn't you get it, guys? I'm being catty. They charge that much? Really? They do? Okay. But when a seller comes and challenges you, which they will challenge you on price, they will challenge you on commission. You point out to them, say, on average, we get 2% more. So I'm only going to charge you 5. You're still 1% ahead. Okay. And then, yeah, our agents increased their gross commission by almost 22% this past year. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. But what you want to take to the seller is that average. And this will get updated. Right now, we're still doing end of the year, beginning of the year, and catching up. But please make sure you go in here. All right. And no, so where did that go? I don't want you again. Okay. So, all right. And any questions so far?
No.
All right. Know the mortgage and economic environment. Make sure you have a dynamite pre-listing pack. You are, I know you're not going to believe this, but you are educating the seller. You are educating. Now you feel, oh, they probably know more. They've moved 3 or 4 times. They know more than I do. Sometimes, but you know the market. You're in it every day. And in your pre-listing pack, include all those stats and include the mortgage information. Turn to our mortgage partners, Bond Street, you see behind me, Bond Street, ask them to do a rate sheet for you. Okay. Then you're going to do a walkthrough. You're going to do a walkthrough and you're going to take notes. Now you're going to say, I'm not sure what I take notes about. Well, what do you think? Think about it. You've all read the MLS, right? When you load a listing into the MLS, you're going to have to answer those questions, right? How big is the lot size? Are there easements? You're going to verify what the seller tells you on those 2 items. You're going to ask, how old is the hot water heater? How old is the furnace? How old is the roof? Don't settle for new or newer. And I remember somebody telling me, oh, our roof is new. And I said, well, how long ago do you think you replaced it? Oh, probably only 10 years. And I'm like, that's not new in my book. That's not even newer. That's halfway done.
Yeah.
Okay, people are funny. So do you know where to get a worksheet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Let's hope I can pull this back up again. Probably not. It's the way it's going, but that's okay. I'm taking you all different places, guys. Okay. Going to go back into the MLS. Are you all in the MLS every day, at least once or twice?
Yes.
If your answer is no, don't tell me. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Listing maintenance. Okay. Toolkit. Forms, docs, and general information. And then you go into forms. And then you can go into worksheets. And residential, 1 to 3, you know, all sorts of categories. Yeah, I think I need a new computer. All right, so these are the questions you're going to be asked to put into the MLS. So you're asking the seller or getting the information. Always when there's a pool, find out how old the liner is. If there is a liner, how old is the heater? Okay. The filter, find out how old. You can take your notes here. Okay. Garage. All right, heating, you can take notes, how many zones. Cooling, exterior finish can be more than one. All right, is this helping?
It's in New York MLS as well.
I'm sorry?
It's in New York MLS as well. That question I should, check out.
It's got to be. It's got to be. There's got to be a worksheet there too.
But I can go and I can use the same thing you did. You went whatever the process you did.
I would say, yeah, go into forms, docs, and general information.
Okay. Let me write it down.
Okay.
Thank you.
When you go into doing a CMA, we'll go at another time to selecting comparables. You want to have at least 5 actives, 5 under contracts, and 5 solds. Have expireds available. Why do you want to have expireds available? Don't include them in your CMA, but why would you have them available?
Because they didn't sell.
Exactly. And what does that mean? They were priced too high.
Yeah.
So if they're comparable to the subject property, and you can show a seller, hey, if you want to try this price, let me show you what could happen. These are sellers who wanted to test the market and it didn't sell. They lost time. Okay. Jeff Otto, you will be solicited by Jeff Otto. He is a real estate analyst, and I think he focuses on the New Jersey, New York metro area. He's very, very good. He's very good. His seminars have a fee. I don't know what they are now because they'd be Zoom. But if you get the opportunity, he has a whole chart. He goes through appraisal charts. He does predictions. And first time I heard Jeff Otto, and this was way back in, I guess, the early 2000s. And he was talking, like maybe it was 2002, 2003. And he was saying, we're about to go into a very strong recession. And of course, we're just riding high up till 2005. We're riding high. And we're like, what's he talking about? Well, didn't we find out 2008, 9, and 10 were a bear. He knew what he was talking about. Okay. Are you on Realtor Tour? Once the times come that you can get on Realtor Tour, do you know where to look for the Realtor Tours, by the way?
No.
Okay, I'll go back.
Yes.
Okay. Like when you go to the desktop of the NJMLS and scroll down, there's your calendar. You can see here's the open houses are there. That's public open houses and Realtor Tours. People just are not doing Realtor Tours. But when they come back, that's where they'll be. Okay?
Mm.
You learning?
Yep,
Yes.
every day.
Okay. Pricing scripts. Oh, by the way, dynamite pricing and marketing presentation. Discuss a detailed marketing plan. I've got some stuff for you there. Do you know your market? Here are the stats you need to know. Do you know your market? If I turn to you and I say, how many homes are on the market in your primary market area? I want an answer.
32.
I don't want you to say, let me look. Okay. Here's your motivation. Check your seller motivation. And there's 2 of them here. Like I said, I will send this to each of you. And then 7 bogus pricing myths sellers shouldn't fall for. I got this from Inman, who is a real estate publication. And it's just very helpful. Anytime that we can get information from a third party that we're trying to tell the seller, it's better to price the home on the high side because the seller can always come down. If buyers are interested, they can make an offer. Sellers think that, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how can I let 3,000 to 5,000 realtors know that you will accept less than the asking price? How do I do that? Well, you do it by pricing it where it should be. Okay, so this is a really good article. You might want to take notes, incorporate something like this into your pre-listing pack. The home is priced right. A seller risks leaving money on the table. We know that's not the case because we're seeing multiple offers. X price is as low as the seller will go. Same as buyers will say, I'm not going any higher than this. Don't believe them. Okay, an offer should come in close to asking, not always. It's your job to work it. Outdated features shouldn't impact the selling price. Really? Let's watch HGTV. Except I have to tell you, if you guys, when you're showing a house to a buyer and the buyer either lies down on the bed or gets into the tub, oh my God, what are they thinking? Have they no manners? Have you not seen that on HGTV?
Yeah.
They lie down or they get into the tub to see if the tub fits. Why? Oh my God. Okay, buyer's offer is simply too far off the asking price to counter. No, negotiations tell stories. All right, let's say the house is 500,000 and the buyer comes in at 4.25 and the seller says, I'm insulted. I'm not even going to counter. Well, let's counter. Let's counter, but let's your counter be a message. Maybe you'll only come down to 495 or 496. You're countering, you're saying, okay, we're still in the game, but you got to come a big way before we can seriously negotiate. Okay, and 8 seller beliefs no longer hold true. So please read through these. Like I said, I won't send this all to you.
This is great.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm helpful. And then show me the money. I love it. I want to get to something else, and so that's why I'm scrolling here. Here's a marketing plan. Old-fashioned, I get it. But the point is, this is a Word doc. If you need for me to send it to you independently, just email me and say, send me a Word doc of the marketing plan, and I will. Sellers want to know what you're going to do for them because historically, no, it's human nature. You do the same thing, by the way. If you've hired someone and they're not right in front of you working for you, where you can visibly see them or hear them working for you, you make the assumption they're working for someone else or not working. Do I see a show of hands? Okay, I see heads nodding. Sellers are like that too. If they are not hearing from you, if they don't see you in front of them, if they're not getting a report from you, they feel you're not working for them. Communication, when I managed decades, years. When I managed, the most common complaint that sellers had is, I don't hear from my realtor. I don't hear from my realtor. The last thing sellers want is to feel like they're out there all by themselves. So one way to communicate is in writing. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what I'm going to do for you. If at any time you feel like I'm not doing it, either to your level of satisfaction or that you feel I've not done it, please let me know and give me 24 hours to correct the omission or commission, or you can fire me. Okay? All right? So, okay. I'm on a Zoom. Okay. Sorry. If the seller knows ahead of time what you're going to do, and then you communicate with them on a regular basis, however they want you to communicate. I think when you read through, we started yesterday on the buyer needs analysis. Who do I communicate with? How frequently do you want me to communicate with you? And to whom do I communicate? So they might say, well, we want to hear from you at least twice a week. Okay. Would you like to hear from me after every showing? Okay. Let them decide. They're going to like that, but communication is huge. Okay. Pre-listing, Going to order signs, create special, I love special feature cards, by the way. That is your way to speak directly to the buyer, because not all realtors are created alike. Some realtors are terrible. They just are. Oh, here's the dining room. Yeah. Please point out that there's hardwood floors. Please point out the molding. Okay. So please just make sure that you use painter's tape and you have the seller's permission. And it could just be like a little 5x7 card that says, please don't miss. Seller says, by the way, if it's wall-to-wall carpeting and the seller tells you there's hardwood floors underneath, make sure you say seller says hardwood floors underneath. Okay. Did somebody have a question?
I was going to ask what the special feature card was, but you answered that.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, advise seller to hide valuables and any weapons and pills. Day one, you're going to enter it into the MLS. It goes from the MLS to the KW system, and it goes to 320 internet sites. I think when you go into Command and when you go into Ignite and look at the listing pack, you're going to get more details on this. In fact, there's a marketing plan there also. So you're going to have the resources to create your own. Okay. You want to install a lockbox with the seller's permission, get an extra key, guys. Nothing worse than somebody saying, I just opened and there's no key here. And this is a transferee and they have to decide within 2 days what they're going to buy. Guess what? You drop everything, say, I have an extra key, I'll be right over. Especially, you know, obviously if your seller's not home. Always have an extra key. And if you are labeling a key, do not put the address, please, in case you misplace it. Think of some way to maybe just the number, but not the street address. Realtor tour, we're not be doing those, but someday we will. First available Sunday. We'll have another session on how to do an open house, but just know, this kind of tells you a little bit. And for the term of the listing, follow-up calls or emails to agents who show the house. Call at least 10 people a day, which, by the way, aren't you doing that anyway? Right? But now you can talk real estate to these people and say, hey, I've got this great listing. Let me tell you about it. Who do you know? Who do you know who would be a match for this house? And from contract to close, which will be another session that will do an overview for the seller. So they know what you're doing. That you're not just coming, putting it on the MLS and then looking pretty and handsome. All right, you're out there doing things and you let them know. Okay, here's seller pricing objections. We need to get a certain amount from the sale. Will you as a buyer pay what the seller wants because that's the price they need? No, you'll pay what it's worth, right? Okay. Can't we price a little higher and come down later? Here's what frightens me about pricing higher. People who have seen the house will seen many houses will find yours and think it might be right, but they won't look at it because it's too high a price. We don't want to drive buyers away. We want them to make offers. Does that make sense? Always throw a question back. Okay, let's get one of those people or more to make an offer right away. If more than one likes your price, then they might even compete with each other. All right, how do you know the price you recommend is the right price? Well, you've done a thorough job with your CMA. Thorough. And you're not only presenting, you're going back and forth. Does this make sense? How does this compare to your house? We're hoping to get more for our house. Can you define the law of gravity? Okay, and then here's your commission objection. We're thinking about listing company, but we've never heard of your company. Not so much that. Keller Williams has really made inroads, but believe it or not, that was an issue 10 years ago. The other agent said they would sell it for less. Other than the commission, is there any other reason you wouldn't list with me today? See how list with me. I'm isolating the objection. Always isolate the objection. Is there any other? Because you want to know, do you have to overcome 2, 3, or only one objection? Never overcome an objection until you got them all on the table. Okay, great. So what I hear you saying is that you want to net the most money possible. Every seller that chooses me wants the same thing. See, many people think that they will get the same price regardless of who's conducting the negotiations, which we already know isn't true. Otherwise, top companies wouldn't pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire the best negotiators. The other agent has already shown you their negotiating skills by giving up their own money. What will happen when you ask them to take care of your money? Won't they give it away faster than they gave away their own money? I think you prefer don't say bulldog, that's so trashy. But I think you could say, wouldn't you prefer a strong agent like me who will watch your money and negotiate on your behalf, right? All right, so let's do the right thing. And remember, money only matters in the absence of value. They're really pushing on commission. You didn't do a good job expressing what you're doing and what Keller Williams is doing. All right, guys, what do you think?
Good.
Good stuff.
Am I helping you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to tomorrow at 2 to 3? You want me to surprise you?
Pizza party.
Maybe we'll do that one of these Tuesday nights. We'll say, forget it. Let's just have a conversation like you guys did in my absence. And by the way, I give you kudos on that. Just sit and have wine or beer or coffee or tea or whatever. So, all right. I hope this is helpful. I'll look through my list. I'll tell you some of the things that I would, my topics, MLS proficiency, but I'm already showing you that. Whenever I can, I get on that MLS and just really, and for those of you who are not a member of the MLS yet, don't worry, I'll keep hammering that. Selecting comps, the pre-listing pack, the listing consult. I may have Deb Warner do a listing consult. She's very good. Servicing, feedback, price it right, we just did, doing an open house. Showing, previewing, and realtor tours for buyers, pre-approvals, contingencies. We do have to one of these times get into setting your goals. So might do that tomorrow. Goals are fun. Think about how much money you want to make this year.
$1 million.
And I hope you do. Start reading.
Wow, I need to think bigger. I said 100.
Is this like The Price is Right? I'm going to say 1,000,001.
Oh, great.
Love it. I love it. Okay, I think maybe we'll start working on your goals. And what I want you to do is think about it. And I really want you to have, this is corny, and if anybody laughs at me, this is my vision board. I don't know whether you can see it. I want to go to the Himalayas. I need a new car, and that's samples of granite because I want to renovate a bathroom. Okay, so I want you guys to start working on that. And just as my goals are here, where I can look over and see them, I want your goals where you're going to see them most. You have more eyes on. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, guys, it's 3 o'clock. I appreciate your patience with my computer today. Can I tell you, buying a new computer, the only thing that bothers me is I don't care. Go ahead and get me a new computer, set it up, and just so I can plug it in tomorrow. It's the building it and what do I get? So I think I will have to delegate that task.
Get a Mac.
Oh, no.
Oh, I love them.
Who has Macs? Who has Macs?
I have both. You'd have to get used to the different like functionality of Excel versus numbers. And if you're really good with Excel, you can probably get along with Mac, but I do love Macs, but most things are PC.
Most things are PC, and I was born on a PC, so.
In the business world, it's PC anyway. If you're doing like
But you
art
can
and
have-
video.
You can
Yeah.
have Excel and Word put on your Mac. I did that.
Yeah, you can.
It's not that expensive, not that hard.
All right, guys. Now, don't forget, tomorrow is Thursday. So you have John Genovese at 9:30 to 10:30 with script practice, right? And then you have Push from 11 to 1:30. That's included. If you are in coaching, it's included. And then for me 2 to 3. All
Now,
right?
I have Hal from 2 to 3 tomorrow.
I know. I told Hal. I said, you bumped me. So if you think being with Hal is more beneficial, my feelings are not hurt. That's a business decision on your part. But no, we're going over goals. And
Yeah.
so grab me another time.
Well, I actually sent him an email because I'm just wondering whether or not I should wait until I've got some other things done till I take that class. I don't
What's
know
the
whether
class tomorrow?
Win with sellers.
Well, it's kind of going along with what we're doing.
Yeah, it just seems like everyone in the class is much more ahead of me as far as what they've done and how long they've been in the business.
Okay,
So,
business decision. My feelings are not hurt.
okay.
Seriously, seriously.
I do want to do my goals though. I think that would be great. Okay,
Okay. All right, guys.
thanks.
Had,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Wanted to say,
Take care.
Thank you.
oops, did I lose